Good morning and welcome back to a very exciting episode of Pursuit the Pod. It is the Monday after the race, so it's June 1st, 2026 when I'm recording this. I'm on a walk this morning. So again, you're just out here for a walk with me, and I just wanted to share the race and what happened and everything. I said this very quickly after Samo will know. It was the best day of my life so far. Like, truly. I really can't think of a better single day in my life for several reasons. And I think one of the things that's particularly funny is I know it sounds kind of morbid, but like the first thought that I had that night and even leading up to that night, the night before, I was like, this feels a lot like a death. And and I know that sounds morbid, but what I mean is, like, you have this idea of something that's going to happen far in the future, and then suddenly it's 2 days away. It was Thursday, and I was thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I have 2 more days until the race. What? It just, I had been thinking about it so much, and so much had gone into it, and 50 for fuel, and the fundraiser, and the everything, and the training all the time, and then suddenly it was the day was here. I had woken up. I felt like the Thursday before I woke up, and it was almost the race day. And I think it reminded me, that death is kind of the same way. I know we're starting this episode off on a kind of interesting note, but death can kind of creep up on you, and you got to make everything worth it along the way. So that was something interesting that I realized right before. And I think what gets me is like, you can think in the back of your head of, you think you can do something. You can have the belief that you can do something. And it's very important to have that self-belief. And then it's another to actually witness yourself doing it. Actually witnessing yourself accomplishing that. And that's what happened to me at around 45 miles. Was I got so emotional because I was thinking to myself, like, oh my gosh, I am actually going to do this. And you'll see in my video that I posted about the race day vlog, I did have this sense, this belief, I even called it a profound belief, that I was going to finish it at around 27 miles. But I think I didn't even realize, like, the next level of not just belief, but of seeing yourself do it, of being 45 miles into out of 50 miles and realizing, like, I only have 5 miles to go, and I can do this. And then that moment is a moment I was never expecting to feel. I had never really heard of anybody talk about a moment like that, and I think I'll remember that for a long time because I was just so emotional. I was sobbing. You'll see in the video, I was just sobbing at between 45 and 47 miles, which just sounds like crazy to say right now. So many miles, because the most before this I'd ever run was 31. And you'll see that I'm just sobbing because just because of I think Samo asked me afterwards if I was proud of myself, and I said that what I'm proud of is the fact that I was able to do it with having my engineering job, with having my EMT job. Both of those things, especially the EMT job. Like, when I got that job in March 31st, that really turned up the dial in life. Like, I raised the level of this video game of life. And April was really tough. And there was a specific day, and I included it in the very end of the video, where I'm on the treadmill and I'm crashing out. Like, it was hard, and it was hard because I felt like I was getting slower. My pace was going from, averaging like 10 to 10:30 minute miles to like 12-minute miles. And I think I do, I don't want to say that I don't care about pace, because I think I do. But the thing is, I realize like I don't really care about pace in terms of being quote unquote fast, but there was something about the pace that did bother me. The fact that it was going up. And when I thought about it, it was because when my body just naturally feels good, I run between like a 10 and 10:30 pace. When I don't feel good, for whatever reason, that's when I notice my pace going up to 12 minutes. Because when I run, I don't track my heart rate, I don't track pace, I don't do any of that. I just run at whatever pace my body wants. And it comes naturally. And then afterwards, I see whatever my stats say my pace was. And so I found myself getting frustrated with the increased pace, but not because I wanted to be fast, but because I realized it was because I was struggling in general, and that was reflected in my pace. And so it was making me sad, because I was like, something is going on here, and it's reflected in how my body's performing. And like, why is my performance going down? I'm training, I should be getting stronger, faster, but there was a lot of, I don't know, there was just a lot of, body image issues I was figuring out, and just the added workload of, working 24 hours more a week, and all things that I'm so happy to take on, but objectively it turned up the dial on life is the best way I can describe it. And so when I got to, between 45 and 47 miles, I was just sobbing, because I was like, I was proud of myself when Samuel asked if I was proud, and I said I was proud of myself for being able to manage all of that. And then not only like the objectively a number of things that I have going on in my life, but also the mental side. And a note that I made actually in my phone as I was running was, mental challenges are harder than physical challenges. And I think this is like, it looking back, it kind of depends, because I think there's a lot of physical challenges that can be harder than mental challenges. But there also is something to the fact that when I was running, I was, especially, miles 0 through 29, honestly, I was like, all of my mental struggles around this topic are harder than these 29 miles. And, maybe that's just because I'm trained up, everything, my body's at that place, so I can handle that volume without much difficulty. But the reason I was crying and so proud in that moment was because I was like, despite everything, like despite every self-doubt, despite every time I feel bad about that, despite all of that, like I still did it. And it really cemented for me in my head this idea that you do not have to be fully healed to pursue your goals. You do not have to be fully, quote, fixed, because you're never going to be fixed. Like, you don't have to be fully healed from your demon to keep going to try to accomplish whatever it is that you want to. The self-doubt is like always there. It doesn't go away. I say this all the time, you just keep going. You do it with the doubt. You do it with the bad feelings. You eat before the race, even every single bite you feel bad because you're eating straight carbs, and you went like a year and a half eating just like non-fibrous carbs, and you still eat because you're like, there's no way that I'm going to let this demon be the reason why I am not able to finish this race, or I'm not able to, finish it in a way where my body can still recover afterwards. Because I knew that, I had to eat. Like, I had to eat before, the whole week before, and the day of. I knew that I had to if I was going to have any chance of being able to actually finish this. Because if I didn't, I was going to hit a wall, or, like, I had to be strong. I had to be strong in order to finish this. And also, like, another thing that I was very surprised about was being able to be proud of all of the strength training that I did, I was not expecting this. And I told Samo this. I think that's why, even with my low running training volume, relatively compared to other people who train for things like this. I think my strength, my leg strength and my lower body strength is how I was able to do it, because around 25 miles is when I started to get soreness in my quads and my glutes. And it was the same exact soreness that I get after a heavy lift. And so I knew that those were the muscles that were being worked. And even right now as I walk, I can feel my quads. Like, I knew that those were the muscles that were powering me through. And I was just like, thank you, quads. Like, thank you. Thank you for carrying me through this. And I just felt proud of myself that I had that strength up in the gym, because I think that if I didn't have that and I didn't have the running volume, like I would not have been able to finish as strong as I did. My mind was very strong throughout. So little high level. Miles 0 through 29, honestly, not bad at all. Couple sharp pains here and there in my back, which was a little bit concerning, because I was like, oh, that's a big, that's a big part of your body that you definitely don't want to go out. But I have been having lower back pain, so I anticipated that. But what I was getting was these sharp pains along the right side of my spine, that was a little bit concerning. That was at 11 miles. And I was like, okay, I hope that goes away. Beyond that, however, 0 through 29, not that bad at all. I was curious about how I would react anything above 30 miles, because before my max was 31 miles. And I'll tell you, miles 30 to 35 were the hardest of the whole race. There was this one, oh my gosh, just like evil section. There's this evil section where it was like uphill for like 5 miles straight. Like a very gradual incline, but still an incline. And I was like, oh my gosh. It was, in that moment, I was like, I knew it was going to be hard, and this is the moment that it was hard. And man, that was difficult. I didn't feel any specific areas that were hurting. It was more just like this generalized fatigue. And I was like, what do I need? Like, what does my body need right now? I was fueling pretty well, not pretty well, very well actually. I ate a little bit more, but managed that with not overeating to not run into any nausea, which I typically don't suffer from. But as I mentioned in the video, there was a very slight moment where I was just like the hints of nausea. I wouldn't even call it real nausea, but just I could it was to the point where I was like, okay, if I eat a lot more, I could run into some nausea. So at that point, this was right before that 30 to 35 mile section, I just ate half of my snack instead, and then I skipped the snack at the next half an hour. That's what my body needed at the moment. But then when I was in the 30 to 35 section, I was like, okay, I need some food. I need some fuel. So I ate about 3/4 of a protein bar and then some more carbs when I could get it down. And that was actually the first time that I cried, was at 35 miles when I got to the aid station, because of the pain in my legs. And the tears were a mix of pain and also relief that I was at the aid station. And I ate some watermelon there. And the aid station people were great. Like, all the volunteers were amazing. They were like, what do you need? And so they would fill up my water, and they got me watermelon and dates and things like that. And they were awesome. I'm very appreciative of them, because you can potentially see some people in some pretty raw moments. Like, they saw me there when I came in with tears in my eyes, and I was like, I just need some help here. It wasn't anything like crazy dramatic. I think I shed maybe like 3 tears, and then I ate, and then I kept going, and it was fine. But that was the first time I got a little bit emotional. But it was because of physical pain. And so moving forward, after 35 miles, I knew that I only have 15 miles left. And I said it in the video, I have run 15 miles several times. And then especially I knew that when I got to 40 miles, that's when I was like, okay, this is actually somewhat impressive, Anya. If you can get to 40, like that's pretty good. And I knew that at that point, I would only have 10 miles left. So I've run 10 miles even more times than I've run 15. So I was like, I can do 10 more miles. So I would say miles 45 through, and it ended up actually being 52 miles because I guess that they added more to the race. I don't know, but apparently they added some, I don't know, it's confusing because on my Strava and people told me that it was 52, but then on the tracker it says 49. So I don't know, whatever. 50 is about in the middle. So for all intents and purposes, 50 miles, 45 through 50. I mean, it was very painful on my knees. I mean, and it was downhill for a good part of that. Also, every time it was even slightly uphill from miles 40 to 50, I was like, this is evil. any 1 degree incline up, I was like, this is so evil. Because at that point I was just, I was feeling it. Miles 45 through 50, as I was saying, were painful, and it was like every single step, it was like pain in my knees. But I don't know. It was. I think because I was close to the end, I was like, okay, I just need to like get through this part, and it wasn't as painful as being in the middle. I think of anything in general, the middle is always not always, but I think the middle can be a very hard part. I call it the lonely middle because there's a lot of people at the beginning of something and there's a lot of people at the end of something, but in the middle, you're on your own. Think about it. When you're training for something, when you tell people, oh, I'm going to run these 50 miles, there's a lot of excitement at the beginning. People are like, wow, that's so cool. Like, how can I support you? I'm so excited for you. And then at the end, they're celebrating a lot with you. But in the middle, it's just you. Like, it's you that's going out for the runs every single day, every other day. It's just you for a lot of the time. Same thing in a race. When you're right in the middle, like at about 30 miles it's kind of just you. You're not really with a lot of runners. And so I think that also plays into it being more difficult. And I knew that going into it as well. So I think that's why the end, you kind of have that magnetic pull of the end. It's like you could feel the end is near. It's like, I mean, that was kind of tough because my tracker said 50 miles and I was not at the finish line. So I was like, how much more do I need to go? And am I going to make it before 8 p.m.? That's what I was thinking. I was like, I mean, I budgeted some time, like my estimates of how long it would take me given finishing at 50. So when it was potentially 52, I was like, okay, like I hope I can finish before 8 and not get disqualified. So that was interesting. I honestly think that my mind just has blanked out miles. No, actually I do remember miles 50 to 52. I just was so relieved when I started to recognize something I knew again, but it felt like it kept going on. It felt like longer than what I had remembered it to be. And I mean, yeah, you can see in my video, I'm just like grimacing at the end. Like I couldn't like help my face. It was just like a grimace. It was like, ugh, like every single step was like, God. And I couldn't understand how people were running faster than me at that point. There was a point at 48 miles where just like this person ran past me and I'm like, how are you running so fast at this point? I was like, oh my gosh, mad respect. Cause I was taking baby steps there. I was like, I was still running. I mean, I walked some of the incline portions, like I said, when it was like 30 to 35. But at that point, I was jogging, and there was somebody that jogged right past me, and I'm like, how are you doing this? I also developed an interesting gait. It was this kind of skipping thing that I made it up in the moment when I went downhill. It was a way to relieve some impact on the knees. And the biggest thing that I would tell myself is flow with the trail. And what that means to me is when it's on the downhill, let your body flow with the downhill. Don't try to resist it by keeping the pace. And then when it's going uphill, like switch your body into a different gear and take smaller steps. And then when it's flat ground, run how your body wants. That was a big thing, was just like moving with the trail, being one with the trail. And then also I would thank individual body parts. So as I mentioned, I started getting those sharp back pains along my spine. And I literally was like talking to my back. And I was like, we're going to get through this. Like, my core is going to support you. All the food that I'm going to eat is going to go right to you. We got this. Like, just hang in there. Like, I was literally imagining myself talking to my spine. And same thing, I was talking to my knees. So I had fallen at near the beginning, about an hour in. I just tripped over something. It wasn't crazy, but I fell and I felt it on my knees. And so at about 17 or so miles, I was saying to myself, like, thank you, knees. Like, I know that we fell, but you're doing good. Like, and I would just talk to all of these different body parts. And when something was hurting, I was like, okay, just stick with me. You're doing so good. All the food that I'm going to eat right now. And this doesn't even make sense physiologically, I know, but it's just it's what I would tell myself. Like all these nutrients are going to go to you right now to repair you, and we're going to keep going. Like, you're doing so good. Like, I literally started talking to myself like that. And I would talk to my stomach. I'm like, thank you for processing, for digesting everything, because I don't want to be nauseous. Like, I know that's something that a lot of runners run into. And so I was just thanking my body out loud for what it was doing, which also I had never done before. But I just had this impulse when I was there to do that. And I think just having this mind-body connection and this mind-nature connection, just this connection with everything, like we're doing this, like I'm one with the trail, I'm with my body, my mind and my body are separate, but they're also connected. And so the way I talk to it matters. And, you know, my sharp back pains went away. And yeah, my knees are wrecked right now and they're inflamed, but like they're okay. Like, and they pulled through for me during the race. So like, I was not expecting any of that. And also, it was just so fun for me these last 5 months to make it more of a community thing and make it like this whole big thing, 50 for Fuel, and make merch and work with the Eating Disorder Foundation. And I just always thought it would be cool. Like, I think it's cool when people have merch. Like, hey, it'd be cool if I had merch one day. So I was just like, one day I was like, I'm just going to make it. And it really warmed my heart every time somebody supported it in a way. And when people that I wouldn't even expect to supported it. Like, there was this woman who my dad works with who supported it by donating, because turned out that she had a coach that made her feel bad about body image. So this cause resonated with her. And it allowed me, I mean, I would not have gone to Run Club and met Samo if I wasn't doing this. And so that's been such an amazing connection in my life. I met another friend, Sasha, who got a sweatshirt of mine. And so I was able to donate the proceeds from that. And that just goes a long way, that I was able to connect with her. And like, that just meant the world to me, because I didn't even know her that well, but she supported it. And it just means it. I'm still even processing what that means for me, but what I know now is it's really fun for me, and it really touches my heart, I think is the best way to describe it. It just really means a lot in a deeply fulfilling way. And that, you know, hopefully the money that I raised for the Eating Disorder Foundation can go towards helping other people who have all these same thoughts that I do, and to more intense degrees, varying degrees, like however that those resources can be used. I hope that it can be used to give people resources and help them learn mindsets and figure out a way through those demons and those challenges. Like if money is the way that, it can be, if money can be used to support somebody's healing, then that's all I can hope that all of those resources are going to. And I'm so excited to touch base with Lydia, the program director at the Eating Disorder Foundation, and wrap up the fundraiser and just hope that can be used. I mean, I know it will be used for something good and something that, is a good part that came out of this, because I'm so proud of myself physically for being able to do that. And just it just makes me happy. It just makes me happy that it can be not just a personal accomplishment, but hopefully, like, even if a portion of that money can be used in some way to help educate somebody or give them a new perspective, because I need it. Like, I need new perspectives. I need resources. I need to, I could use all of that. And if somehow some money can be used to help somebody do that, or even, just help keep the organization running so that other people can find their resources, that's all I can ask for. And that's why I wanted to make it that fundraiser. So it was very fun personally for me, for having the shirts and making all my videos and all that. Yes, that was super fun for me. That's a big portion of it. And at the same time, the fact that we just had people contribute to it. And I have this inkling that when people contributed to it, it's because it tugged on their heartstrings in a way. They probably had some kind of personal connection with this topic. And I don't need to know everybody's details of what their struggles or who have or people that they witnessed have struggles. I don't need to know any of the details, but I think there's part of it that when somebody wants to donate to somebody, it's because it resonates a part with a struggle they've had or that they've seen really intimately. And so even while I might not know all of the details of why people donated, I think it's like this underlying connection of I see you, I see these people that are donating, and I recognize that maybe they have had some pain and they're also helping to contribute to helping other people work to overcome this. And when I started 50 for Fuel back in January, I was actually in a much better place mentally. I was in such a place where I felt as though I could now talk about these things without it affecting me so deeply, and I could give back to help, to try to help other people get to the same place that I was in at that moment. And what I found was a couple months into it, or maybe 2 months into it, I was really back down again. And, I was filming my little update videos and my little long run Saturday vlogs, and I was just always on camera, and I was always, and I love that stuff. I love the media portion. I've always loved making videos. I've always done that ever since I was a kid. But, it was I think there was part of it was I was being so vulnerable online. And I had never, especially to, strangers and my friends, family friends who didn't know that I struggled with this. And then suddenly I was putting myself on blast of being hey, I struggle with this. And family friends who have ever seen me bring my own food to family functions or not eat somebody's bread that they made or something. I'm oh, that probably makes a lot more sense for them now. But it was scary to be that vulnerable with people that I didn't really know, because at that point I'd really only, talked about it in detail with my very close family members and friends. And so when I was putting it out on social media, yes, it was for a good cause, but it was also ooh, now everybody, I didn't like it at first. And honestly, I had a conversation with a friend where we were kind of maybe I should not do it. Maybe I should just still run, but not talk about disordered eating so much if it was going to bring up so many emotions for me. And then at the end of that conversation, I was like, you know what? No, because I think that would just be running away from whatever's going on inside. Like when you bring something up to the surface, like, and make it visible for everybody to know, it's like there can also be a lot of power in that you're not hiding behind it anymore. And like if somebody can look at me and be impressed or be anything about me, but then they can also know that there's a lot of mental turmoil that comes with everything, and that people who have done things, like there's still a lot that can go on in the mind, and a lot of ways that the mind can still have a chokehold over you, and just show that yes, I can achieve these things and have all of these thoughts going on in my brain. And so I hope that somebody else can see what I do and understand that you can struggle with whatever it is. You can struggle with academics and still do it. You can struggle with the mental side, like the mental challenges of disordered eating, and still understand that you need to eat so that you can fuel yourself for something like this. And something Samo said was that he was proud of me not only of running the 50 miles, but also about the big plate of pasta that I ate afterwards. We went out to eat. We had a great pasta dinner, and I haven't eaten pasta and I don't remember when. Like that would not have been something that I ever would have eaten because of the carbs and the fats in it and the oil and stuff. Like when I was in the depths of all of this, I would never have eaten all that. But I was like, my body needs the carbs, like to recover after this. So I'm going to eat it and I'm going to enjoy it. And it was great. And what is life really about? That we're here to enjoy it. And you've heard me talk about long-term and short-term happiness, and we got to have both. Long-term happiness is training for a race, like grueling through those 50 miles. It's a long day. It's 13 hours of running. Well, people even do 100 milers, so that's like even more. Long-term, I'm working towards this goal. I'm getting a degree. I'm doing this. We set these goals for ourselves. I want to build this relationship for the long term. What am I doing now so that I can have a long, successful relationship, thinking more in the future. That third timeline that I've talked about is what you're building towards. And then I'll also got to remember that life is happening now. Life is also happening now for you to enjoy. And it's okay to enjoy things right now and know that you are already enough now, however you are. Whatever demons you have, whatever angels you have with you, you're living it now, and it's okay. Life's not waiting to start until you are a certain weight, until you are a certain physique. You can be loved at any physique that you are, as long as you are doing what is bringing you closer to your version of happiness. And here on Pursue the Pod, you're going to get my Kool-Aid of what I think is the path to happiness. But I want you to always understand that this is just my life experience, and this is me sharing my life experience, and I fundamentally know that everybody's going to have their own version of it. If I can share some ideas that help spark an idea in you of a way that brings you happiness and joy in your life, that's what I want. And to show you that I think a great framework for living a happy life is, chasing after these goals like I talk about, and defining these goals for yourself. It's what was instilled in me at a young age, and I think the pursuit is because if I didn't have this, like think about it, if I didn't have this pursuit of this 50 miles, I would not have learned all these life lessons. I think having these goals and pursuing things is what allows you to get these really rich life lessons along the way. Things that you can only experience, that they can't really be told. Like, how do you tell somebody the fundamental belief that you gain in yourself when you're at 45 out of 50 miles that you can actually accomplish something? That's not something you can read or somebody can tell you, or something that you can even tell yourself. It's something that you experience. Like you experience through proof that you're doing this. And that's what I think is so cool about chasing goals, is when you're seeing yourself, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm actually doing this thing. Despite every single self-doubt, everything that I tell myself, everything that other people tell me, everything that I've been through in life, I'm doing it. And that feeling, I think that feeling is why I learned this. I didn't really understand this that much to this extent before any of this, but I think that's a really powerful part of all of these pursuits that I talk about. So that is what I wanted to say about this ultra. We ended up raising $1,600 for the Eating Disorder Foundation. Thank you to everybody who's taught me lessons along the way. Thank you to Lolita for literally the day before the race. I called her crying because I was like, I don't like how my stomach looks in this picture. And I was like, crying. And I'm like, this is where I'm at right now. The day before my 50-mile race, where I'm supposed to be raising awareness about disordered eating and healing. And there's me crying about my body. And she's there for me every day. She's there for me on race day. She's there for me on a random Tuesday. Thank you, Lolita. Thank you to my parents for, one, conceiving me. It was recently my birthday. But specifically for just setting me up in life to be able to do all of these things, for giving me such a good foundation to where now I can go off and do these things that I want to pursue and find myself in. And speaking of my birthday, that was recently, my mom sent me a card for my birthday, and it made me emotional when I started reading it. It just meant a lot to read the words that she said to me, especially right before the race weekend, and it just really, really, really meant a lot to me, what she said, and that she took the time to put together that gift and the card and send it to me. So thank you. And for my dad for for also knowing intimately my personal struggles with this topic, and for being one of the first people that I could open up to about this. And to Sasha, who also I cried to earlier in the week about this topic, and she said that I looked strong when she saw me, and that she know that might even come across as an insult, because strong you associate with, having some more mass on you. And the fact that she even recognized that, she just gets me. And and the fact that I felt so strong during the race, it's like, it's of course not an insult, but that's what this demon does, is it twists the words and the meanings of them. And I'm so happy that I did feel so strong during the race, and that word just really resonated with me because of what she had told me earlier in the week when I said that I was honestly not feeling great about it. And she just really helped me in that moment. I mean, she gets me. She was also one of the first people I opened up to about this. I think she might have even been the first person back in 2024 or so who I had shared with. And so that really means a lot. And to Chris for coming out. I mean, this just started as an idea in January. I was like, hey, would you want to maybe come and be there for my ultra and help me train and fuel and learn how to do this, because she has run several Ironmans and been there in these endurance race situations. And so I got advice from her, and we chatted with her throughout the training, and she was actually there on race day, and she ran a 50K. She ran the 50K. She met me in the morning, and then I went off at 6 a.m., and then she ran a 50K at 7 a.m. And the support, I've known her since I was, over 10 years we've known each other, when she was my tennis coach. And the fact that our relationship has been able to transform into all of this. And, she told me that she loved me before I went out for my race. And the fact that we can have this relationship that started off as, just a tennis coach and a tennis player, and then it turned into really good family friends. And then now, she was back as in the new era, as in the running, is just really amazing. And Emmy, Chris's daughter, who edited some videos for 50 for Fuel for me, who really took the load off at some points when I wanted to keep posting, and that was fun. And So thank you for that. And thank you to Samo, like so much, who I signed up for this race back in November of last year. And so when we didn't even know each other, and so there was no way that, I was going to know him throughout this last portion of training and race day. But, we met at Run Club in January, and we've gotten closer since. And he offered to let me stay the night at his house before and drive me on race day and be there with me. And I mean, he just took care of me before, during, after, and like I could go on and on about the love and the lessons and everything that you've taught me, Samo. Like, I'm so grateful and so happy that I know you, and just for the positive ways that you've helped me see myself and getting to know you and just who you are as a person. And so just thank you for encouraging me to eat the week of the race, making sure I was eating the carbs, and for driving me, for getting up early with me, for being there at the start line and the finish line, and just being up for, in the morning, like going and getting me the things I needed because I was in a lot of pain to move, and just being willing to be there for any mood that I was in, and just the love. Thank you. You've made me a more loving person to myself and to others. And I'm so happy that this whole 50-mile endeavor is what brought us to meet each other and led to all of this. So that's where I'm going to leave today's podcast. Thank you so much for listening. And I will see you next week. Bye, guys.